Hey guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Alen.
And welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up.
Mark Stanford, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, dude, it's good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, man. It's been a long, couple of weeks or so since last time we connected?
Yeah.
That's our podcast live.
I'm looking forward to being face to face again. I know we got that coming up. I'm looking forward to it. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah. I still feel like we should rename the podcast to Mark and Traveling Man. That would be awesome. Because I'm always in a car and you're sitting down.
Well, so look at it this way. Thankful for technology to be able to make the connection, even if we can't be face to face. How's that for a glass is half full like that? That's like a shirt that doesn't fit very well. It just feels uncomfortable for me to live in that space.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Listen, man, it's did I tell you my wife had surgery recently?
I know you've had a bit going on this week.
Yeah, man. It was emergency surgery. She was rushed to the ER, and hours later, it was said that she needed surgery, so she had surgery, and she's been comfortable and resting, a little sore, of course, whenever you go under the knife.
Oh yeah.
You're a little sore. So, she's got a nice little recovery journey coming up here. And so, man, dude, I've assumed all the roles that we split. And let me tell you, it's been interesting, man.
You certainly appreciate your partner when she's not there,
that's what
right?
I was about to say. Yeah, you don't know. I mean, but then you forget, I guess, or you just take it for granted.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that your spouse may do for you, whether, however, and we, people mix that up. But for us, Shannon has been a stay-at-home mom, since our first child, and she's and I want to clarify. I don't feel like I need to give anybody any disclaimers or whatever. But I do feel in today's climate that whenever we hear stay-at-home mom, it can get a little crazy and funny with society today.
Yeah.
And so I want to, to be honest and truthful with you and to our listeners, Shannon, even when we were younger, she's always said, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and I want to raise my kids, and that's what I want to do. She's was adamant about finding, a partner who would be okay with that. And, when we got married and stuff, there's been times where she has gone to work, but for the most part, she's worked from home.
Yeah.
And, and she considers that not only it's, something like, well, that's the spousal thing to do, or, especially older generation would say, oh, that's the motherly thing to do. And for her, she's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's my heart. But she's also said, it's a job. I mean,
it is a job. Oh yeah.
She's done the laundry. She's, we have chores and stuff, but for the most part, Shannon's done all the grocery shopping. She's I'm off real early in the morning and stuff. And so, bringing kids to school, packing lunches. I mean, she is just amazing, man. Shannon is just amazing. And I appreciate her for everything that she does for our family. But what I'd say all that to say is that this week I find myself doing all that.
That's right.
and so it's been interesting, man. I've even this morning I got up early you're helping with breakfast and lunches, and, you're bringing kids to school. And of course, our kids are at different ages. So I'm dropping them off at different times and stuff. I felt like an Uber driver, the laundromat, the local Starbucks and Bob Evans
all in one
mixed together. It was interesting, man. And I remember I sat down and I was like, oh my gosh, it's only been like 2 to 3 hours. And I feel like I just ran a marathon. And I just looked over at Shannon and was like,
how do you do this every day?
Yeah. Like, you are amazing.
That's right. That's right.
We need to write a book about you and whatever. And, I'm doing laundry, which is interesting because, she's been so faithful in doing the laundry for us. And then I did it and I'm like, what are colors? And you have to separate things. And what's delicate? What do you mean delicate? What am I holding right now? I'm holding a piece of cloth. Let's just throw it in the wash. And no. You can't let that shirt dry in the dryer. You got to hang that up. Why not? It's a dryer. It does its job. And that might be weird. And I was just thinking, is that weird for our culture right now? And what does culture think of that? When it comes to when I'm saying as a man that, I'm doing laundry this week, or I'm packing lunches, or where does that land with our culture, and what are minds thinking of? Is that part of being a man, and such? And I just want to throw that out to you, man, and get your thoughts, and maybe even if you have a different avenue that you want to take, but I just thought that was interesting, as a 41-year-old man. I had different thoughts, but I was curious to talk with you and see what you think.
Yeah. So like the question you're asking, what is the message sent? How does culture interpret that? And I see in my mind a dichotomy. I see on one hand this idea that men should not impose domestic chores on women. It shouldn't just be the wife that is responsible for these things. Now you can look back in time and you can see evidence that generally, traditionally, it's been the husband that's left to go off to work, and the wife that's at home left to work and domestically engineer everything around the house. So on one hand, I can see, I forget which one I started with. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, but I can see society saying that men should be doing more of these things, because traditionally it's all fallen on the woman to be responsible for these things, and men should play their part. They should do their part and contribute to the things around the house. On the other hand, we set examples or we see examples that are put out in society where men seem to be aloof, and they seem to really resist or look down upon some of those more domestic chores. That's my wife's job. Well, that's why she stays home, so she can deal with that, because I have this important job I have to go off to, and don't bother me with these things, because I'm making lots of money so that you can stay home and take care of these details, and maybe some of it is like from a male's perspective. They can say, well, that's not my job. That's your job. And from a female's perspective, she might say, look, this is work that has to be done. Why does it all have to fall on my shoulders? And I think what you are getting at is that in a partnership, gender doesn't matter. There are certain things that only women can do. Think about raising a baby and nurturing a baby and the whole biological wiring to be able to care for and feed a baby. If that's the plan, guys can't really fill that function. But there's other roles that dads can play. And so when it comes to home chores or getting kids to and from or dealing with those things, I don't know that gender should matter. It just comes down to who's best suited or who has the advantage of being able to execute that chore the best. And things get divvied up, and in a partnership, it gets done. I don't think I always had this perspective. I got to be a little bit vulnerable here. I grew up in a generation, and did you, that was kind of that post World War II generation, that post Leave It to Beaver, Ward Cleaver type of family, where even in a good family like that, there were some pretty defined gender roles. And some of that carried into my upbringing, and in the families that I knew, the friends, even in my families, both my family and my wife's family, I see some of those tendencies, and I think it's taken me a while to realize that it's not because of gender, it's because of choice, or it's because of the spouse, the partner who is in the best position to be able to execute that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if your job doesn't start until 9:00 in the morning and the kids have to be to school at 8, then why would it not be your responsibility? Why wouldn't it fall best on your shoulders to take your kids to school and then go off to work? You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm really making sense here, but I guess
no, you're totally making sense.
I've grown to the point where it's not that I do this because I'm a man and you do that because you're a woman. It's we do this because we're a partnership. And when one of the partners, like in your situation, when one of the partners is down, the other partner picks up the slack and you help out. And maybe it's a little awkward. Maybe you'll ruin a couple of shirts along the way, but you help, you step in and help out because you're a partner. It's love. You're loving your spouse, you're loving your family in this situation, and you're doing things not because you're a man, or you're not doing things because you're a man. You're helping out because this is your partner, and you're showing love in this way.
Yeah, man. I wanna hone in on that word love, because I think like it's out of love that you do, like, so we teach our kids about like to do chores and stuff. And, it's like, well, why do I got to take out the trash? Or why do I have to do the dishes? Or why do I have to sweep the floor or vacuum or whatever? It's like, you can look at it as, we can talk about it from a standpoint of like, well, that's just your duty for today and you need to do it. But I don't think that's, the way that I want to come across. I want to teach my kids to do something out of love. Like, our family, like, we love each other and we want to take care of each other. And so we come together and say, in what ways can I love you today and better you as a family, better us as a family. Yeah. And so it's like, I take out the trash because I love my family. Like, I don't want my family having trash build up all over the place and, the place smelling up. I want my family to be healthy. So I take out the trash. I vacuum because I want to love my family. Like, I want to love what my family has bought together, and is built together. And so I want to beautify the space that my family lives in. And so I vacuum, I sweep, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
We do things out of love.
Yeah.
And I think that's how, like, for me, that's the standpoint that I want to come from, and in life with everything, and especially in my family, like in not only just my family, but in my my marriage with Shannon. Like, she could have easily been the one that went off and worked a 40-hour, 50-hour job a week and such, and I could have been the one stay at home, but it was like we came together and we said, like, out of love, let's see what we each can bring to the table.
Yes.
And let's just go do that.
Yes.
Let's just go live that, and in that we've like walked this journey together where, we are holding each other up, and we're sometimes, we're carrying the other. In this case, it's like that. We're carrying the other, because we love each other and we want to press that out. It's not like, and I remember even growing up and watching some shows, and, like, I remember watching Leave It to Beaver. Like, I remember watching that show as a kid. I remember watching the Cosby Show, and just watching that dynamic of family and such. And I remember I don't even remember the show Good Times, and whatever. And each family was different. And the Cosby, the mom had a job, the father had a job, the practice and whatever. But yet mom always seemed to be in the kitchen. And in Good Times, mom was always in the kitchen. She worked a job, but she was always in the kitchen. And then with the Beavers, it always seemed that mom was home in the kitchen. And there was this thought process of, well, okay, so women belong at home in the kitchen?
Yeah.
And it's like, and even as I grew up, I didn't even agree with that. I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. How about if I want to be in the kitchen? You know what I mean? And like, what about if I like clean? Because actually I do. I used to be a supervisor for a cleaning company. I find cleaning actually therapeutic, cleaning stuff. And so like, when I supervised and ran alongside my friend and run this company, I was like really excited because like when I cleaned, I felt like I could think, and it helped me, think and process a lot of stuff that was going on in life. And so it's like, what, I can't clean and whatever. And so like, that picture that I think society was painting, I honestly threw a bunch of paint thinner on that and let that run.
Interesting.
I honestly believe like it should be like, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? Like, and can we find a way to bring our strengths to the table and whatever, and our love and passions to the table, and let's just do things together out of love.
Yeah.
I'll go outside and I will change the brakes on my car, but I'll also change the brakes on the car. I said my car. We try to stop that too. The car that I normally drive and the car Shannon drives, I'll change the brakes on that. I'll help my daughter out with her car, not because I'm a man and, a man is supposed to be greasy and dirty and we're supposed to be hardworking and we're supposed to want to tear things apart. No, because I love my daughter and I don't want to see her die. So I'm going to fix the brakes on the car. It's really that simple.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'll try to teach. And if she is like, you know what, I'm not really into this, at least she knows how, but for the time being, I don't mind doing it. So I'm going to do it out of love and make sure that she stays alive because I love her. It really is that simple.
Man, I really like that idea of I'm doing this out of love. It's not my obligation necessarily. It's not just about responsibility or playing your role on the team or whatever. But when you lead with love, it's a subtle shift, but it's such a powerful shift in your perspective. Because out of love, you put the other person first. And when you put the other person first, you put their needs and the benefit of them ahead of yourself. And then you're willing to do things that you might not otherwise think or enjoy to do. Or it might lead to more opportunity to do the things that you enjoy because that's the space in how you love them or how you're showing your love. I don't know. I don't know that I'm fully
you're
making
right.
sense here, but I really like that shift, that perspective adjustment to where you're doing this or inviting, and as you said, inviting your kids to do the things that need to be done, but do them out of a heart or a sense of love for those for whom they are being done. I think that's so good.
Yeah, and it's very practical and real, I think, and it makes more sense. You know, we're not slaves to each other.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I'm not, because then it becomes a chore, and then like, let's say you don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then like, what's the reason? Really, all falls apart then.
Right.
If I don't want to do it, I ain't your slave. I ain't doing that.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like, but when it's like out of love, and it's like, no, man, like I love you, and I want to see you succeed. So let's do this. I'm going to do this. You know, I think it's a better base to come from. And it's hard. I ain't going to lie. I'm still working at it, man. You know, I'm still working. This morning, man, like, you know, when I that alarm clock hit, I was like, I sat on the edge of the bed for a minute, was like, I gotta go start the car. I gotta start this.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, you think about it, it's like, nah, man, like, hey, man, this is what I want to do, because I love my kids. I love my wife. I love my family. And love wins. It really does. I mean, Paul, one of the apostles, was like, you know, 3 things remain, right? Faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. And like, you know, we can dissect that any way we want, but the real statement he's trying to state is love is the biggest thing, and that wins all the time.
Yeah,
it wins all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really fosters relationship development and growth. You know, if you invite somebody into a relationship with you by loving them, by serving them in whatever capacity, it's way more welcoming and inviting than like as a father just doling out chores, which admittedly I have done. I've played that part. Like, look, you know, we do a lot of housework on Saturday. Here are your Saturday jobs, and we expect you to get them done. It was really more out of a sense of play your part. You know, this work has got to get done.
Yeah.
Me and your mom, we don't have to do it all. You're going to contribute, so do it. But that doesn't really foster relationship. You know, when you encourage acts of service, acts of kindness, even just acts of taking responsibility for something out of a sense of love for family, for relationships, siblings, parents, whatever. Boy, it's just such a bigger place, and it's a more inviting place to be.
Absolutely. I totally agree, man. So this is interesting. I'm glad we got to talk about this today.
What a good example, man, right? Like, you know, you have a difficult situation in your family, and you're presented with an opportunity to really demonstrate the love that you have for her. Your kids get to see how dad steps up and loves mom through a difficult situation and loves them, you know. It's such they're difficult. I don't mean to diminish that, but it's also an opportunity for
I agree.
For that love, for that commitment to family, for those relationships to be tested and to be strengthened as a result.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
Yeah.
That actually makes me feel better, because sometimes like there's sometimes where I feel like I dropped the ball in that. So fellas, if you're listening, like, I don't want you to think like, you know, I'm the new Wally Beaver. Like,
yeah.
Or Bill Cosby in the Cosby Show. But like, I want you to know, like, you know, like, I think that even if we fail at it, we're not necessarily failing forever. It's just, we're going to drop the ball. And there's times where, you know, I missed the perspective that I want to come from during times like these. I'm being honest with you. Like, you know, there's times where I'm just like, I forget that like love is the point that I'm trying to come from in building this relationship.
Yeah.
And things might come out of my mouth that really on my heart, but it's because of frustration or disappointment or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But what a great North Star to be able to find your way back again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I'd like to convey. Like, let love be the North Star in your marriage.
Yeah.
Like, for everything that you do, and as a father, like, to your kids, friendships, to relationships at work, but let love be the North Star of your relationships, and allow it to be the thing that even when you get off course, you look at and you're able to find your way back onto the road that you want to be on.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best as Shannon.
Thanks, man.
Shannon recovers. I hope for a speedy recovery for her,
Thank you.
and for all that are involved. And thanks for being a little open and transparent today. I know it's a challenging time, but kudos to you, for just living in it and doing what needs to be done and leading with love, man. You're better off, as are those around you, for it in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you, man. Thanks for letting me share that and pick your brain on that, man. You always got good answers.
Yeah.
Good perspectives for me to chew on and maul on and live out. So appreciate you, bro.
Always good, my friend. So let's call it here. Until next time, adios.
Adios, bro.
Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.